Hi there, this is Vinay. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I will upload all real-time scenarios for SQL and Power BI and Power BI templates. Please check out my playlist. If you want to get latest updates, please do subscribe and hit the bell icon. Without any further ado, let's get started. Today we will discuss about this interview question. We have a table, a username, transaction date, deposit, withdrawal, and then we need to derive a column net balance. So if you observe here for the username, we have three users A, B and C. For this user, for this transaction date, he deposited 1000, withdraw 500. So the net balance will be 1000 minus 500 equal to 500. The same user for the next transaction date, he deposited 2000, he withdraw 800, but he has a previous balance which is 500. So 2000 plus 500 minus 800, so the balance is 1700. Similar way for this record. But if you observe this record, it should not compare with the previous record because this is completely different user. So for this user, for this transaction date, he deposited 5000, he withdraw nothing, so the balance is 5000. The same user, the next transaction date, he deposited 6000, but he has a previous balance which is 5000, so 6000 plus 5000 minus 3000, so the balance is 8000. Similar way we need to find out for all the records. So before writing the DAX formula, we need to observe. So in this table there are two main columns, username and then transaction date. So username should be matched, and then transaction date we should compare with the previous record in order to get the previous balance. Now we will write the DAX formula for it. Now we will create one measure. This is the DAX formula to calculate net balance. So let me bring this measure into the canvas, into the table. Now we got the result. So this result we want actually. So we are getting the expected result. Now we will discuss about the calculation. So in this table, there are two main columns, username and then transaction date. If I store these two values, these two column values in a separate variable so that I can compare, I can match with the username, and then I can compare the previous record using the transaction date. So that's why I am storing these two values, these two columns in two variables. So one is for the username and one is for the transaction date. Since this is a measure, I cannot simply use the column here. So that's why I should use a function. So I'm getting benefit from the first non-blank function. So first non-blank function, it requires two parameters. One is column name and then one is expression. So I don't want to give any expression here. So that's why I'm giving the dummy value which is 1. So in runtime, the username values and then transaction date values will be stored in these two variables. So after that, these two values will be passed to here into the main query. So here I am subtracting deposit minus withdrawal. Then we need to use a filter here. So in order to match with the username, and then we need to compare with the previous record to get the previous day balance. So that's why I'm using transaction date less than or equal to dates, so that it will loop through previous record and it will match with the username in order to get the previous day balance and do the minus between the deposit and withdrawal. But if you observe here, so here we are getting the expected result, but the total we are getting the garbage value. So it is not doing the subtraction between 84,000 minus 26,300. So definitely we should get a huge amount, right? But it is giving only 500. So this is garbage value. So the values in the scope of a username, if these values are in the scope of username, then it is doing the subtraction, but these two values are not in the scope of username, so that's why it is unable to do the subtraction, and then it is giving the garbage value. So we need to improvise the code here. So then if ISINSCOPE function, if the values are in the scope of username, so that's why I'm getting benefit from the ISINSCOPE function. If the values, these values are in the scope of username, so that's why I need to give here username. Then if the values are in the scope of username, then do this calculation. Otherwise, just do normal subtraction without doing any filter. So I'm just doing the normal subtraction without giving any filter condition here. Then close the parenthesis. Let's see how it works. Okay. Now we got the expected result. So 84,000 minus 26,300 equal to 57,700. Now we are getting the expected result. I have explained the same scenario using SQL, and then I have uploaded that video in my YouTube channel. Please check out my playlist. So I hope this video is very useful to you. Thanks for watching.